days after the HM Customs and Revenue Agency broke the news that they had released the details of 25 million people's personal records, we headed into Oxford Street to ask how worried the public really are.
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously of concern to me. I've got 2 children myself, but and I'm upset about it. It was just now finding out what's the best thing to do, if there is something that's going to be done about it.
Have you been personally affected yourself?
Yeah, I mean, I have claimed child benefit, yes, and my records are amongst those millions of records that have gone missing, yeah.
And have you actually taken any action, or has anyone told you to take action?
No one's told me, and from what I've heard in the press, it was just wait and see at the moment, so that's what I'm doing, yeah.
Okay, and in terms of anyone else that may or may not have been affected that you might have known, do you know if they're taking any action? Or
all of my colleagues who are all friends who are in the same situation as myself, we're just wait and see at the moment. The only thing that we've been advised to do is that if you make sure that if you do things like use your children's names as passwords for your online banking and things like that, to change those, but yeah, so just waiting to see at the moment, yeah.
Now, in terms of the actual disaster that's happened, I mean, what would be your opinion? What do you think the government should have done?
I think maybe you should have informed people earlier than they did, because obviously it's quite a while ago now that has gone missing, and people, there might have been something that, there's weeks that have gone past now that maybe information has been spread around that, we could have maybe put a stop to.
There's been a lot of talk about the actual lax security methods that have been used in the first place, let alone posting it in the post itself. What would have been your opinion or your suggestions of how to secure this sort of critical information?
I mean, it should have been encrypted. I mean, from what I've read, obviously it's only what I've read and seen in the press, it seems like it was a cost-cutting exercise, and therefore it was in order to save money that an error like this has been made.
Shocking.
Shocking. Have you been affected by it in any way?
We don't know yet. We haven't checked the banks. We're on holiday, so we haven't looked yet.
Do you know if anyone...
We do get child benefit,
yeah,
so
yeah.
Presumably our records are part of what's been stopped.
And you haven't been able to get through to the bank, or had they sent you any advice?
No, nothing. We've not heard from our bank at all.
Do you think that's bad in relation to the banks and the financial...
Well, in all fairness to the banks, there's so many people that are affected by it that they couldn't possibly ring everybody concerned. So I mean, we're just going to monitor our bank account a bit more vigilantly than we normally would, just to make sure that there's nothing happening really.
I mean, ultimately, whilst the details have been given out to us all, who do you blame for this, really?
The heads of the HM Revenue. It's they're it's ludicrous to imagine what's happened there. I mean, we were talking about it over dinner last night, and you just can't believe that they put all these records on a CD and then sent the CD by post. I mean, it's laughable, really.
Certainly is. Do you actually blame the actual government that their procedures, having been in power for more than 10 years, should have actually tightened things up?
Yes.
They talk a lot about looking after families, yet the whole nation is now affected.
Yeah, exactly. I know. The responsibility has to come down to the government at the end of the day.
Right. I mean, ultimately, with the situation, how do you think it's going to pan out? What do you think is going to happen next, basically?
I think a lot of bank details and personal details need to be changed. We need to get new national insurance numbers, new bank details, everything. That's the only way, because it was in the paper this morning that it's not just the child benefit, it's all your driving stuff, your inland revenue data, everything. And if it is that, then everyone needs to be issued with new information, new numbers and everything.
Now, the banks themselves, as we understand, say it's not their fault, they're not going to underwrite this particular loss. Would you, as a couple, be willing to underwrite some sort of cost in terms of changes and things like that?
Well, no, I don't see why we should have to.
Pay enough in tax anyway, so why should we pay even more? Just
no,
for
it's not our fault that this has happened, so there's no way, it shouldn't be, the cost shouldn't come down to us.
And even if the CDs are found safe and sound and not tampered with, what advice would you give the government, basically?
They need to put something in place to make sure that nothing like this can happen again, and they need to get the trust of the public back, because at the moment they haven't got that. And they're talking about taking more information off people for identity cards, but no one's going to want to do that, because the information that they have got they're misusing at the moment, so why would you give them any more information?
It's appalling, really. I can't believe that they could be so stupid.
Have you been personally affected by it?
No, I haven't. I've been very fortunate in that respect, that I'm from the Isle of Man, so we have a separate government who look after us.
Long may that last. Do you know anyone else that's been affected, and what are their comments?
Not with children over here, because my friends are based on the island, so no.
Now, in terms of the disaster that's unfolded affecting us all, whose fault ultimately is this?
Well, it falls down to to Darling. I mean, he's in charge. If you work wherever you work, if you make a mistake, then the boss is the one that takes the rap.
Now, in terms of the department that's at fault, individuals have actually shown decency and actually resigned. Do you think he should go?
Yes, I think he should.
Now, and in relation to that, what do you think the government should do to restore confidence in this disastrous situation?
I don't know what they can do to restore confidence, to be honest, because it's such a huge mistake and there are so many possibilities. It's not just a list of people's names and addresses, it's all their national insurance numbers, their bank details, so I actually don't know what they can do to put it right, to be honest. I mean, saying sorry is all well and good, but how can you put right and put the confidence back? There's so many things that have gone wrong recently that I don't know how the public do feel.
The government has effectively lost control of a lot of things, and
yeah, I think they've lost the confidence of the British public generally, actually.
They should have come clean straight away, definitely.
Have you been personally affected in any way?
Well, I mean, I claim child benefits, so I presume my details are on there. So yes, I mean, I'm quite worried about that. My details falling into the wrong hands.
Well, yeah, it is a worry. It's not just like the kids and that. It's your own. I've been actually had my car claimed about 3 times now, haven't I? Before this happened. So,
this is just an extra worry for you on top of all your other.
Yeah, you just wonder about all the security these days.
It's incredible, and we've only realised as regards the nation that the entire nation's personal data has gone onto CDs. Is it not incomprehensible to you about why they do it and the method of transport?
Well, I heard on the radio yesterday, they in the private market, they wouldn't have sent it out on CDs. They would have gone a more secure way. So it's the government trying to save money.
I mean, individuals have resigned after about 9 or 10 days of this actually first being known. Who do you think is ultimately responsible? Is it the government?
Well, who's ever in charge of that ministry, really? The buck stops at him, really.
Does Alistair Darling?
I would have thought so, yeah.
You think he should resign?
Someone's got to put their hands up, haven't they? No.
He's having a string of bad problems at the moment. I mean, is he the sort of person who will instill confidence in either of you?
Not really, no. I don't think any of the Labour Party now instills confidence. They've really gone downhill.
With the subprime mortgage crisis, followed by the run on the Northern Rock Bank, and now the personal data disaster, the government is no longer in control of events. Instead, it is remorselessly being driven by them. Bnptv, London.